Not many people know, but Michael Clancy was diagnosed with ALS on August 17th, 2016. He's a very private man and does not like the spotlight on himself. The reality is the diagnosis was in August of last year, but the onset was for quite some time before that. Again, you would never know. Because when you look at this agency and you try to identify who the hardest workers are, who day in and day out, blood, sweat, and tears to get the job done, who those people are, there's no doubt that anybody would dispute Michael Clancy would be at the top of the list.
When everyone found out about what Mike was going through with his diagnosis, everyone rallied to his support, and it's one of the most beautiful and touching things that I've got to witness as Monmouth County Prosecutor. And it didn't surprise me, because when I came in here, I recognized this place was a family. And just like any family, you're going to go through trials and tribulations, ups and downs, and you're there for your family members when that happens. This place is no different. And Mike is no different, because people have gone through hard times here, and he's been there for them. Now we're going to be here for him, along with his family at home.
And from the very first interview with Mike, he was obviously a detective that we wanted to bring on board. He had a great career in Ocean Township Police Department, but he was very, very impressive at his interview. The day I sat on his panel interview with other executives from the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office, and I remember very, very well. And when he walked out of the office after doing an interview with us, I said, there's a detective we got to get on board here. There's a really squared away guy. And I have to tell you, we've hired a lot of folks here under my tenure here and since I came on board, and Mike's been one of the most dedicated, committed detectives we've ever hired in the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office. His commitment, it goes without question. He's probably one of the hardest working detectives we've ever had here, and continues to be daily. And Michael obviously has his own battle right now.
Look, Mike is one of these police officers that's one of them in a million. He's a guy that will go that extra mile no matter what the situation is. He is beyond detail oriented. I remember in a case that we tried together, Arthur Morgan, wherein Mike went and took a statement from Arthur Morgan, and when we were preparing the case for trial, Mike actually was telling me the questions he wanted me to ask him so that he could say what he wanted to say for the case. He's probably one of the only detectives that ever do that for me, but it's just another example of how detail-oriented he is, but so conscientious, and he takes those cases home with him at night. And any victim family that ever had a case where Mike was working on, they always felt like they got 110%.
When we were working together in Ocean Township, we were chasing after a shoplifter around the Asbury Park Circle, and we were both in cars, and this gentleman was on foot, and we both stopped our cars. Mike had stopped his car first and got into the foot pursuit. I then stopped my car, and Mike and the other gentleman were in front of me, running across the circle. But Mike is 6'5". He's got some long legs, but I was able to shoot right past Mike and kind of wave to him, say, I'll get this guy, and eventually passed Mike and caught the shoplifter. So it was just kind of funny running past him and letting him know.
Probably 15 or 16 years. He started in Ocean Township where I work. We met as patrolmen. I was probably on 3 or 4 years when Mike got hired. We became friends then. He's been to my wedding. We've done a lot of things off duty together, concerts, things like that. He's just a really dependable, fantastic friend, and probably the best cop that I know. And I know a lot of good ones. Mike is probably the best. Determined, hardworking, tenacious, just never gives up, all those things you want in a police officer.
The first time I met Mike Clancy, I actually recall very clearly. I was hired here at the prosecutor's office, and I remember Mike coming to find me. He shook my hand, and he genuinely seemed very interested in learning about me. And not only did he want to learn about me, but he also wanted to know about my family, what my interests were, and he made me feel very welcome coming to the prosecutor's office to work.
Mike is a great person in general. He not only my cousin, but I consider him a great friend of mine. Someone that you can rely on. He'd give you his shirt off his back if you asked him. He's dedicated to his job. He's great at his job, and someone who has a great deal of respect amongst his peers. And I look up to him for that.
He inspired you to become a police officer?
Yes, he did. He was a big part of me becoming a police officer and entering this field. He was a police officer for many years prior to me becoming one, but I remember always talking to him about it, him telling me stories about his job, and if you know Mike, he's a great storyteller, so if he told you one of his stories, you felt like you were there. So he was a big part in that, and he would help me every step of the way, whether it's getting into the police academy or going for my interview to get hired. He would be there for any questions I had, help me prepare for interviews, things like that, and he continues to be there for me to this day. He's just a phone call away. Any time of day, at night, middle of the night, he tells me just to give him a call, and he'll always answer. So.
Still to this day, he continues to work harder than many people within the agency, but yet he's fighting this disease. He's not going to let it take over. He's going to continue to fight, and the most important thing that Michael needs to know is that the support system is there for him, for he and his family, not just within this agency, but all over.
Mike and I have been friends for the last 4 years. I got a chance to get to know him because we live in the same area and we have some common friends. And I'm blessed to have him not only as an employee here, but a very close friend of mine. And I can tell you, my entire family, personally, will be there for him every step of the way. Whether it's, going over, having a few bottles of beer with him, like we always have done, whether he needs help shoveling walks or whatever, we're going to be here for him. And so is this office, the prosecutor's office, to a larger extent. Because you hit on it earlier, it's about family. And this is what family does for one another in times of challenge and need. Mike is fighting this, and he's fighting it hard, and we're going to fight with him every day.